I'm gonna be honest, as I have the broadcast behind the camera right now, and I'm looking at it. I completely forgot that Eric Jones is in the broadcast because I heard him maybe 5 times today. Welcome in, everybody. For anyone who watched last night, I am much better than I was last night. I have recovered from the food poisoning. I actually can work out and run again, so full energy on this one. This was the 2024 BetMGM 300. I am going to keep an eye on the Twitter side of things just in case something happens between Austin Hill and Cole Custer, because I'll be real with you guys, I don't trust Fox to catch it. I just don't. So if something happens, either you let me know or I let you know, one or the other. We'll work together on this one. But welcome on in, everybody. It was, I'd say, a pretty damn good race, all things considered. Give me your rating: 10 best race ever, 0 worst race ever. Out of 10, what is your rating for this race? Let me know in the chat. I want to see you spam those numbers. What's your rating? And we'll go from there. Yeah, I did think the broadcast was better. Probably because it was actually a fun, planned broadcast. But I'm seeing in here 7s, 8s, 9s. Generally, it seemed like you guys really liked this race, which I'm in the same booth, man. I'm in the same booth. Like, I get, it can be upset that it's a leech and all that, but it is what it is. Real quick, 3 super chats here, all 2 and a 250. Michael Kelly Gilliam with thumbs up. Thumbs up. Napa Racing fan with the 2 saying Austin Hill, the big bully, Custer is innocent. We will talk about that. I have plenty of thoughts on that. And Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart for the 250. My 45th birthday is on Friday. Happy birthday. And everyone in the chat, why don't we spam happy birthday as well? Wish him a happy birthday. And let's get into the results of this thing. This race was 200 laps, 2 hours, 36 minutes, 26 seconds. 23 lead changes among 9 leaders and 8 caution flags. Chase Elliott gets the win. Say what you want about leaching, but it was a team effort. Because if he doesn't have the good team call on that one when it comes to tires, he is probably right in the scrum with the rest of the guys that wrecked. It takes a lot with the driver, but it's a full team effort as well. Driver executed well. Crew executed well. It's a Hendrick car. It's tough to beat them. But he wins by half a second over the JRM trio of Brandon Jones in second. Third is Sammy Smith. It's warm out, so there's going to be a fly in here, of course. Third is Sammy Smith. Fourth, Sam Mayer. And then AJ Allmendinger with a solid top 5 finish today after a little bit of damage early. And geez, that damn fly likes to... It's only when I talk, it likes to be right near me. Kyle Busch with the 6th place run. Ryan Sieg 7th, the highest finishing non-Chevrolet of the day. Josh Williams, don't have to look in the milk cartons anymore to see him. He is not MIA. He got a top 10, 8th place finish today. Ty Gibbs, highest finishing Toyota in 9th. Noah Gragson in 10th. Then Kyle Weatherman 11th. Taylor Gray 12th. Jeremy Clements 13th, Parker Retzlaff 14th, SVG in 15th after contact with the wall late, Anthony Alfredo 16th, Jeb Burton 17th, and Chandler Smith, the final driver on the lead lap, 18th position, exactly halfway through the field. From there, 1 lap down, we got Kyle Sieg, Haley Deegan, top 20, 1 lap down. I'm telling you, these are runs I want to see from her. Constant improvement, stay out of trouble, things like that. JJ Yaley comes home with a 21st place run. Cram in 22nd. By the way, everyone 19th on down is a lap down. Leland Honeyman a lap down in 23rd. Then Garrett Smithley 24th. And he is the last guy 1 down. 25th, 2 down is Austin Hill. Matt DiBenedetto 2 down in 26th, as is Ryan Ellis in 27th and Jesse Love in 28th. Natalie Decker 29th, 4 laps off the pace. And finishing out the top 30 is Patrick Emmerling, 9 laps down. Brennan Poole, 10 laps down, the final finishing driver on the track today. And from here, we have a list of a lot of players who were out of this race. 32nd, Cole Custer. 33rd, Justin Allgaier. 34th, Dean Thompson. Blaine Perkins, 35th. 36th, Sheldon Creed. Parker Kligerman, 37th. And Riley Herbst, 38th on the board today. I'll read the rest. I'll read these super chats in a bit. Let's get into the race itself. I'm checking if anything's happened between Hill and Custer. I don't see anything. That's unfortunate. We'll talk about that. But let's get on into it. Ty Gibbs won the pole for the drivers only broadcast. He'd get out ahead of Kyle Busch. Early on, a lot of close racing. It was clear, I think, that Justin Allgaier in the first half of this race had the best car. And he was making his way up through the field. You know, the track definitely was slick, and you ended up having people go up to the basically up to the top. Oh man, you can reply to super chats now? Hold on, this is new to me. I did not know this. Huh. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Sorry. This is new to me. I'm learning with you guys. But the track, with it being so slick, it was going to end up running towards the top of the racetrack as runs went on. Early on, the battle for the lead, because they got so far out, was between Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs. Kyle Busch would get past Ty. The first caution would be for the 98 of Riley Herbst, who tried to pull a slider on AJ Allmendinger. He slid himself right down the racetrack and out of the race. When they got restarted, it ended up being Ty Gibbs at first, but then Allgaier would win the stage over Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Brandon Jones, AJ Allmendinger, Sammy Smith, Austin Hill, Chandler Smith, Ryan Sieg, and Cole Custer. By the way, since I forgot through reading the first stage, there is your finishing order and the streaming schedule. NWP, Danny B's channel this week with Jeff Fabiano, so it should be a lot of fun. And then I'll be live after the 600, and it's looking very likely that the Indy 500 will be rained and stormed out tomorrow. So I will, more than likely, if it races Monday or Tuesday, I will be there. And by the way, like the stream, subscribe if you're new. We do this after every single one of the top 3 series races, and if I do go to Indy, I'll probably stream after the 500 as well. Why? Because it's just fun talking to y'all, especially at the track. It's such a different feel when we stream live at the track. It's hard because I can't hold the super chats in one place, so I have to read those while reading the chat as it pops up on screen while also talking in the atmosphere. It's a lot of fun at the track. So there you go. I will not pour milk over myself even if Larson wins. I'm not going to go that far. And for those wondering, I am doing much, much better. I am not sick anymore. I've been drinking a lot of water. Keep drinking water. Stage 2. We get restarted to 7 and 20 up front. Allgaier, again, was the best car early on. He ended up getting the lead on this restart. And yeah, I mean, just he had the best car. Kligerman would spin off 4 early on in this run as well. And he's, well, actually about the middle of the run, give or take. And from there, the restart was with the 18, the 17. Elliott with non-fresh tires bunched up the field. But at the end of the day, it ends up being the 7 winning the stage again. Allgaier sweeps the stages. Still probably a pretty good points day overall for him where he finished because of the stages, as well as 2 added playoff points. So it's still probably in the big picture a win for Allgaier. He has the win on the year. All he needs at this point is to get playoff points, and if you're not going to get them by finishing higher and higher up in the points, then you might as well just win stages if you're going to end up choking at the end. Let's see. I should probably... I don't know where... Oh, here it is. I see there's a interview with Austin Hill, and I can tell you... I can't play it just because I don't want to take somebody else's stuff without asking, especially since it's a friend of mine. But I will let you know what he says if there's anything interesting. So Austin Hill basically is saying that Cole Custer, when he doored him, cut down his tire, and that's what happened, and that's why he went after him. Well, he says from Noah Lewis. Great follow on Twitter, by the way. So that's his side of the story. He also says that he didn't get into him all that much. We'll talk about that in a bit, but trust me, I have my thoughts on his reaction to it. I'm going to take this off because I don't need it after hearing that. Let's get into the final stage here. The 2 and the 30, they stay out, have the lead. Busch ends up passing them, while Kyle Sieg would spin about 10 or so, maybe a little more into the stage. The lap 114 restart, after you have the split field of strategy, was probably the best sequence of racing of the day. On lap 114, the 33 and the 2 are up front. Busch gets the lead. Gibbs is there. Through the pack, you have these guys on fresh tires who are flying up towards the front, and a bunch of 3 and 4 wide racing. I don't know what happened, like if it's just the asphalt like kind of like got over the hump when it came to aging, but this Charlotte Motor Speedway is not the same Charlotte Motor Speedway of like 2018 where it was boring and everyone went right back down on the bottom. To me, it's interesting because it's not just the next gen car where the racing's improved. The next gen has improved the most over Gen 6 here, but Charlotte Motor Speedway overall has improved a ton. And you know what? They were actually talking about this in the chat before. I saw it talked on Twitter. I saw it talked about in the broadcast a little bit. So I am going to ask you guys, oh my God, some of you guys are funny as hell. I'm going to ask you guys, which is better? And it's just a simple question. Charlotte or Kansas? Because a few weeks ago, we were saying Kansas is the best one ever. Now we're saying Charlotte. So I want to know what you think. Which is better, Charlotte or Kansas? Poll is up right now. Go ahead and vote. I still go Kansas. I will admit I'm pretty biased, just because I do go to Kansas and I see the racing in person. I've unfortunately never been to Charlotte before, at least not with racing on the track. So that's about, as much as I can say of where I lie on that one. But I like it. It's a difficult question for a lot of people, man. It's a really difficult question. So far, we're leaning Kansas at 55-45 over Charlotte. But you can make a great argument for both of these racetracks. Anyway, we got about 80 to go. Creed had a flat tire. At least we thought. Well, he had a flat tire, but it was because of an exploded brake rotor. No, I don't think any caution, but he was done for the day for there. At the same time, Sam Mayer is pulling a slider on Kyle Busch, and Sam Mayer's car, I think, was the best overall when you evened all the cars out, the best car in the second half of the race. They just didn't have the right strategy with it. I mean, he was pulling sliders back and forth. He was battling. At the same time, this is the first beef that Austin Hill has between him and Sammy Smith. They're banging doors just because I guess they're racing hard. I don't know. At first, I thought people were overreacting because they didn't like Hill. Because, sometimes drivers will race hard. They'll complain a little bit. Every driver complains. I mean, I'm a Junior fan. I used to listen to his scanner, and Junior always complained during races. And so I'm like, you know what? It's just sometimes you just don't listen all the time. I get it. But the more and more I see of anything with Austin Hill, the more and more it's just him constantly complaining and trying to just push his weight around, especially with guys who are either younger than him or slower than him. And one of these days, somebody's going to clock him in the face. Like, it's just going to happen. I don't think it's going to be Sammy Smith. It's funny. NASCAR Chasm on Twitter says Austin Hill out here shoving freshmen into lockers. I saw it. You guys are calling him the big bully. And it's kind of apt at this point. He's earned that nickname because he really does a lot of times bully people out there. Like, you can dislike Hamlin all you want, but Hamlin, at least for the most part, races people fairly. he can go overboard sometimes, but he's generally a pretty fair driver, and you can't really hate him too much for that. But man, it's like Austin Hill, he's gonna get something back thrown at him. There's no way I see him constantly doing this and someone not finally standing up in some way to him. I mean, we saw Myatt Snider try to, but then he got launched into the next decade. I'll admit that was a pretty good punch. But let's see. Bro, Hamlin told guys to race dirty to win. I see. The thing is, I don't see Denny Hamlin left or right rear hooking somebody into a wall. Like, I just don't see that happening. Like, I get we can argue about stuff Hamlin said or done or whatnot, but I don't see him going as far as Hill has gone before. And that's just me. I could, I maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe it's heat of the moment, but I just don't see that happening. Like, we can hate you, or not we, as I don't hate Hamlin. I actually kind of like Hamlin. You can hate Hamlin all you want. I don't see him going as far as Austin Hill. Do not see him going that far. But that's just on my take on that one. We'll get more into that in a bit. So we get green flag pit stops, about 56 to go. Busch tries to stay out longer, ends up backfiring for him. He loses about 10 seconds and is only able to make up about 1 in the run. We did have a shredded fender, but props to NASCAR. With 50 to go, Emmerling shredded his fender, and they didn't throw a caution. So good job, NASCAR. We hate on NASCAR a lot, or not hate. We rip on NASCAR for their calls a lot, but I think we need to praise them when they do stuff right. But this all changes with 32 to go. Ellis crashes off of turn 2. Everybody, for the most part, pits for scuffs except Chase Elliott, who has fresh tires, as well as, I believe, Noah Gragson, who stays out. With 25 to go, this is another huge point of the race here. With 25 to go, the 30 and the 7 are in the front row. Noah spins the wheels, gets sent by the 1. Of course, they're showing a fan angry in the stands about it, because when does Fox not focus on the fans in the stands instead of showing the ones at home what's going on? And Allgaier gets the lead, but there's a run from Ty Gibbs. Allgaier goes up the track, self-clears, crashes himself into the wall. I don't care how popular he is. I don't care who he drives for, any of those factors that I know people are going to think of with that. That was totally on Justin Allgaier. That was 100% on the 7. It was completely stupid on his part. He choked the race away. I know he probably wasn't going to win because Chase Elliott had the best tires out there. He was going to get past them. But that's all Justin Allgaier. I'm seeing some people say there should have been a caution with Emmerling shredded tire. There was no debris on the track, at least none that Fox showed. And if there's no debris out there, and all the debris was mostly on his fender or in the infield grass, I'm fine with it. But Allgaier's case, yeah, that's 100% on him. I see Matt Parsons here in the chat. As an Allgaier fan, I agree 100%. It sucks. I mean, laugh all you want. He was my pick today, and he had the best car for a good portion of the day. Ty didn't do anything wrong. He did. True, by the way. I do trust Fox to show debris. Oh, shocker. I wouldn't. But yeah, Ty Gibbs was all the way up into the wall. He gave him as much room as possible. And I get you're kind of sliding up the track a little bit, but that's on him, man. I don't want to see any blame pointed towards Ty Gibbs, who did, in my opinion, nothing wrong. What's he supposed to do? Slam on the brakes and get rear-ended by somebody? That there's nothing he could have done there, especially that late in the race. By the way, click that like button. Let's get up to 100 likes as we go on through this baby, and subscribe if you're new. We're almost, I think, at 77K. We're like less than 150 away. From here, we get a restart with 18 to go. Chase Elliott's on the front row, fresh tires, better car than who he's against, which is Sam Mayer. He's gone. We all know it. Like, let's not pretend that we thought there was any suspense for who was going to win this race after this. The real suspense is, and by the way, we're going to end the poll really quick, is with Austin Hill and Cole Custer. 51% of you lean Kansas, 49% Charlotte. Very close poll. But we're going to put another poll up in a second, and this is going to be the action against Hill. Because he gets together. This is the big one now. No, we're not talking about. We're not talking. I don't know if you're talking about a race, Noah. I'm talking just about track. That's where I'm at. But anyway, with 17 to go, Hill and Custer, they get into each other on the front stretch. Hill says that cut down a tire on his part. They both get into the wall on the back stretch under caution. Hill gets into the back bumper again, pushing Custer down the backstretch, sends him into the inside wall and crashes him. And a lot of people were angry. A lot of people were very angry with this. Now, again, it is Austin Hill, but I get this. But I want to know what you guys think on this, like penalty-wise, because NASCAR did not throw a penalty on him. That's the way they went with it. So I want to know what you think the appropriate penalty or non-penalty should have been. So the options here are no penalty, park him, fine him, or dock him some points. What do you think the actions against Hill should be? If I can spell should correctly. And I'm going to break it down while you guys vote. Here y'all go. For me, I think that I don't think suspension necessarily, just because it was not a right rear hook. It was not as egregious and it was not in front of a bunch of cars the way that, or at least as many cars, the way that, say, like Bubba Wallace's was or Chase Elliott's was. But I do think they should have parked him. I think they should have parked him for the day. Because I think that, one, it's not really going to make that much of a difference, but it'll send at least a statement out there. Like, I don't think you should do that stuff under caution. And I don't know why NASCAR is so inconsistent about stuff under caution compared to any other time. I mean, was it 2 years ago? I think William Byron sent Denny Hamlin through the infield grass at Texas under caution, and NASCAR didn't do a damn thing. Like, they were going to, and then they didn't. Or it got, like, rescinded or something. Like, I think it should be a zero tolerance policy under caution. Like, get into each other maybe in their doors or just point fingers, something like that. Like, I think that's fine, but spinning, even if it's right after the caution, was the caution even thrown before Custer was spun? Yes. It was thrown. It was like close, but still, I mean, I think that to me at least deserved a parking, but that's just on me. And maybe it wasn't thrown. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. I still think it should have been. That, and because Hill has been, I think, too often than not, has pushed the line. And I think that either at this point, I think a fine at least. It's still it's a fucking dumb move. Like, okay, fine, yeah, I get it. It's thrown after the spin. Either way, is a dumb move. And Hill again had all day been dooring people, had been just going after people back and forth. I'm telling you, he's going to get something thrown back in his face. Somebody is going to self-police him if NASCAR doesn't get to him first. I think parking him just for the end of this race would have been fine. I think it would have gotten the point across. But we're going to see it. 25 for language. See, that's 2004 pussy shit for TV. Sorry. That irks me with that. Grow up. It's funny. I'm assuming you're either talking about me or Austin Hill. Either way, we probably both should. Yeah, double down, damn it. But I do think NASCAR needs to, even if it's just talk to him, just something to try and get the point across. Because I'm telling you, somebody is going to wreck him on the track. And he's going to complain, because he always complains about everything that happens. Everything that happens to Austin Hill, even if it's his fault, is always somebody else's fault. And it's just, it's bugged me at this point. Oh, not you. The grow up is for people complaining about cussing. Okay, even better. We're on the same team on that one. But it's this constant, like every 8 or 10 weeks, the same damn thing over and over again. It's not necessarily like the aggression on track. It's just, personally, I'm just annoyed by him constantly saying the same damn things and making the same damn mistakes over and over again. Because I think he is a good driver. Like, I don't think, like, a lot of people are like, he's washed, he's terrible. Like, no, I don't think he's a bad driver. I think he's actually a talented driver. And it's pretty damn clear that RCR wants him to be the future of their company. Like, I don't know why, when you have so many great options you could have, like, I get maybe having him as that third charter one day or something, but it's like, it almost feels like Richard Childress wants to make him the franchise guy. Like, start acting like it, man. You know, how long has he been? Like, this is the second or third year now he's been in the Xfinity Series. You got to start acting like a Cup driver. No. Ty Dillon is not better than Austin Hill. I think, yeah. I mean, hate him all you want. I think he's one of the best Xfinity drivers out there. He gets in his own way. He gets in his own way is the best way I think I could put it. And I want to see him succeed. And I think that if he balances that line of like aggression and temper, I think he'd be a lot better, man. I think he'd be a lot better. And I think he'd be really, really damn good for the Cup Series. Like, I think he'd be a fun villain personality up there. He's got to get that line better. But yeah, it's just maybe it's something you got to learn. It's the Xfinity Series. It's a lower series. It's why these drivers move through these series like this. He makes my job fun. He's always someone to talk about, but you know, it's not always necessarily the best part for him career-wise. Finishing off this race, Chase Elliott, you know, he was going to win this race. I think we all knew it. You know, he's one of the best drivers in the Cup Series, whether people want to admit it or not. He's one of the best drivers in the Cup Series. He had the best tires out there. Team executed the best. He's not going to make a stupid mistake either. Say all you want about him. He's not. Even with Brandon Jones running him down, he kind of knew. It's like, even if Jones gets there, like, you really think Brandon Jones is going to beat Chase Elliott? Like, no. Chase Elliott's like leagues better than Brandon Jones. Chase Elliott doesn't even need Menards to get him a ride every time something goes wrong. That was probably too mean. But overall, I'd give it probably an 8 or a 9. I think I'll give it a 9 out of 10 the more I think about it. It was a really fun race racing-wise. There was a good amount of strategy, comers and goers, a lot of different people shuffling up front. Say what you want about leaching or whatnot. It's still, I think, made for a very, very fun race today. Do I think they'll race the 600 tomorrow? I don't see why they wouldn't. Let me see really quick. We'll look at the Concord. If I can spell again, I can't spell to save my life, man. I'll look at the weather forecast really quick. I don't see why not. Let's see. There might be isolated thunderstorms. What I'm seeing, at least from National Weather Service, is like a 30 to 40% chance. Might have some showers, but I don't see why they wouldn't get the race in, because the showers is for later in the night. So it might hamper the end of the race, but I don't see any reason why they wouldn't race Charlotte tomorrow. The Indy 500, no, that's not happening. That just, I would be surprised. By the way, let's get to 100 likes before we end this off. I'll read the super chats you guys have left. Yeah. Hey man, I get to watch the 600 and then go up to Indy either tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on what the forecast looks like. The forecast, I looked at Monday. I'll look again. I haven't looked since this morning. But when I looked at the forecast for Monday in Indianapolis, it was not much better. It was morning and early afternoon showers. Tuesday's looking better. So we're going to, okay, so by the way, for those wondering about Indianapolis, tomorrow we are looking at where is it at? Tomorrow we're looking at a 74% chance of thunderstorms and showers throughout the day. Monday we're looking at a 50% chance of showers early in the day and afternoon. And then isolated showers until it clears up into the evening on Monday. So Monday probably will happen. They can at least get to halfway. I don't see Tuesday happen or Sunday happening. Tuesday might. Tuesday will be fine, but I think they'll get. Because again, you got to also remember sunset in Indianapolis right now. I think is closing in on 9 o'clock because it is Eastern time. Hold on. We're gonna get all this stuff for you guys. Sunset in Indianapolis. Sunset in Indianapolis is 9:03 tomorrow. So there will be plenty of time to get the race in. They start I think at like what, noon or 1 Eastern. I mean, they're gonna have a long window. But I do think they're gonna race it Monday more than likely. But that's just me. I hope they race tomorrow. As much as I want to see it in person, I want to just sit and watch 2 good races tomorrow because I'm not going to wake up for Monaco's parade. Sly Supersonic for the 5. Mickey win for Chase Elliott. Honestly, JRM had 3 tries to win this race and they still lost. Poor Kyle did his best with that RCR car, 8 out of 10 race. Yet JRM had, the field had every chance to try and beat Elliott, but it's like, Elliott and that team didn't make mistakes while the rest of the field did, and they capitalized as a NASCAR Cup Series champion should and does. Sleeve for the 15-month member chat. Austin Hill double tantrum. Let's go. It doesn't even shock us anymore. Twin spinner for the 5 for a driver that doesn't want to be seen as a crybaby. Hill is going about it the exact wrong way. NASCAR should have given Baby an appointment or appropriate timeout. That's where I'm at. I think they should have done it this race, get it out of the way, and make their point. But Marky Mark for the 2. Penalty for Austin Hill or no? Well, we talked about that. I think there should have been at this point maybe a fine, but I don't think a points penalty necessarily suffices. I don't think it, because again, it was not as egregious as like a Bubba Wallace or Chase Elliott kind of thing. But I do think a fine. I mean, listen, it doesn't even matter at this point. NASCAR's, especially Fox, is still going to use it to promote everything. So, they'll say they don't like it, but they'll use it to promote. Sleeve for the 5. Sheldon Creed's number 18 car assembly and setup must be getting outsourced to the ghost of BK Racing. Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on when it comes to Sheldon Creed, but like that team, the cars seem off, the driver seems off. That whole deal just seems off. If it's the best way to put it. By the way, we're 3 likes away from getting that triple digits here. So see if 3 more of you guys can lick that like button. Subscribe, by the way, for new, because again, we do this after every single Cup, Xfinity, and truck race, and it's a lot of fun. The twin spinner for the final super chat here for the 2. I can imagine Kligerman giving Hill the old 1-2. Thing with Hill is he's such a bigger dude. I think it'd be really hard to go head to head with him like that. But that does it. I had a lot of fun with this race, and I still think tomorrow's race is going to be better. I really do. I think tomorrow's race will be better than the Xfinity race, and that makes me really, really excited. Cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Plenty of time left in the day to have a good time, have some fun. And And I will hopefully see you tomorrow night. Hopefully it's not too late. So, till next time, have a good one. There you go.